Meanwhile, down at the farm,
If you've ever visited Frederick's Outdoors, known as the farm, you may have noticed something a little different. The dogs. These beasts of burden roam the property and the store day and night, providing overwatch against would-be thieves. This is a dogumentary.
So everybody's either enamored or annoyed by the presence of anywhere from 7 to 10 dogs, the predominant species here being the Great Pyrenees, which is a big fluffy white dog. Generally, we have one aberration, but generally they're big fluffy white dogs of approximately 100 pounds. They tend to lay around and do absolutely nothing most of the day until they get annoyed by the presence of another dog, and they'll run out and scratch the paint on your car and or bark incessantly just to say, hey, I want to sniff you. Other than that, they're a cool feature of Frederick's Outdoor. And I'd like to take you around and introduce you to the crew. So first here is Houdini. She's one of the litter. We'll get to that later. This is what she does all day. She hangs out in the shower in my office. Unless there's some reason to run out and bark, then she'll run out and bark. She's an escape artist, hence the name Houdini. This is Waylon. Waylon is late to the game. He's the youngest of all of them here, and he was kind of adopted. He was Kim's daughter's dog, and one day they went to take him home and he refused to get out of the car, so they brought him back and he hadn't left since. All he does is pee on tires. This is Chunk, and the name Chunk is a term of endearment, really. Her real name is Little Virgil, but we call her Chunk because she's like 140 pounds, about 30 pounds heavier than she rightfully ought to be. But the vet says she's happy, so we're going to let her stay that way. This is Morgan. He's the Mac Daddy alpha male of the whole crowd. He knows it too. He doesn't do anything. He's just the boss. Biggest, longest dog, but he's skinny, so he's fast. He's not even that heavy. He's only about 100 pounds. But you don't want to get him mad, because look at this. He can punch out right through your arm. Okay. He's not a creeper. He just likes it in the women's bathroom. That's Virgil. The other alpha male, or beta male, whatever you want to call him. He's number 2 on the totem pole after Morgan. Soon to be one-upped by Waylon, but right now he's still second in command. He just likes the women's bathroom. This is Doc and Wyatt in their younger days. They were the very original Frederick's Outdoor dogs. They've both passed on prematurely because they do stupid things and get run over. But that's the dog's life around Frederick's Outdoor. You gotta know you mind your P's and Q's around all the vehicles. These guys used to get out and run around and have a great time. You'll notice there's a thread here going with the names Doc and Wyatt, Morgan and Virgil, and so you see how it's going. It's kind of a Tombstone theme kind of thing. Alright. That's Medea. She's our one-off, our unexplained, our how did this happen. We did a lot of Googling on her because she's an enigma, but apparently not all Pyrenees are white. This is little Morgan, affectionately known as Momo. She's insane. Actually, she's just really protective and acts insane whenever she gets protected. Deep down, she's sweet. You just wouldn't know it. This is Pretty Girl. Pretty Girl's the mama. So all the other girls running around, these are all next generation Pretty Girl. They all have 2 daddies, Virgil and Morgan, and we pretty much have figured out the genealogy of each. But yeah, that's how it works in the dog world. What you doing, baby? Sit, 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 sit. Joe, sit. Good girl. This is Joe, Rachel's baby, Doc and Wyatt's little sister. She's still with us, going strong. Much better behaved than the Pyrenees. She's probably got just a little Pyrenees in her. That's Waylon. And she's just a sweetheart. She's Rachel's baby and stays on her side. So she's a transient. This is Roscoe. He doesn't live here. He comes to work every day. He's old, older in the hills. Doesn't do anything, but he's sweet.
Some have asked, exactly how much do 10 dogs eat daily?
Every day the dogs get a nice little concoction of wet and dry food and leftovers. And they love it. What time it is, when it hits about 4 o'clock, they start giving you the puppy dog eyes. Making you think they're starving, even though they ate like 10 minutes later, earlier. They're special babies. Need just plain old dog food. Protectors.
Rachel carefully mixes the concoction of pork, kibble, and canned dog food for these beasts. These beasts who valiantly serve the Fredericks Outdoors facility with all their heart.
So good looking. Actually, does kind of smell good with that pork in it.
Delicately dishing out this dog delicacy, Rachel prepares to feed them. After a vigilant night watch, this poor dog can barely raise his head to feed himself.
Big Chunky, telling everybody, don't eat my food.
Momo. This is Mo. Mo's crazy. Momo is also very lovey-dovey, but she doesn't let anybody see it. Contrary to her attitude, Momo loves to be loved on. She actually seeks out hugs. Don't you, Mo? Momo, you gonna say something?
Okay, when I first started working here, Momo barked at me every time I walked by. She could be hiding behind Jessica's desk. I couldn't see her, she couldn't see me, but she could tell by my walk it was me. And she would come out behind the desk, barking, come at me like she's going to tear my leg off. And all I had to do was pet her on the head, and she'd stop. So I got to the point where every time I saw her, I just touched her on top of the head, and that was good. She wouldn't bark. It took her about 3 weeks to get over me. The dog's psycho.
It seems that everyone is not so fond of the dogs, though.
I really don't like dogs.
So this is Boot Hill. This is where we lay our loved canine friends to rest when they've passed on. And we've got us a little cemetery going on here. We got Doc, Wyatt, Petey, one of the male offspring. We've got a couple other dogs that have come and gone here. It's just our little place of respect for the ones who've gone before.
Sometimes productivity can be hampered by these dogs.
No, buddy. Come on. Dude, you're killing me here.
You might think this is a little over the top. You might think that this was put forth by the advice of counsel. Well, no, this is legit. If you bring a puppy dog in here, they're gonna wanna sniff it and they're gonna scratch the paint on your car. It's a fact, happens all the time. We got buffing compound. If you're stubborn enough to bring your dog out, we'll buff your paint.
I think I saw a coyote out there just then.
Go get him! Go get him! I should do it just as many times as you do it, Dan.
Insects aren't immune to the mongoose-like speed of these dogs.
Hey man, please don't put that in your video.
Well, that's our little dogumentary. Just a sweet bunch of bundles of fur, but if you have even an inkling of, like trying to rob the place, don't. So if you're enjoying these little Frederick's Outdoors shorts and you want to subscribe to our channel, click right here where it says subscribe and click the bell. And guess what? You'll see all our videos as soon as they come out.